At the end of your rope, almost there, almost there, almost there, almost there, almost there, almost there. At the end of your rope triggers. Okay, this is my rope tie, but the sentiment's the same. So often today we talked about the idiom "at the end of your rope" for the supersize your business segment for my videos. I do a couple videos every morning. I think I've talked about this. Horne-Ellstrom here, documenting my journey as I transition from the brick and mortar corporate world of business to the online world of business. And I just share what's working, what's not, what I've done, what I'm doing, and hopefully shortcut some of the pains and trials and tribulations that you might be experiencing as you add add an online component, add an internet component, or a digital component to your business, or as you transition, as I have, all the way to the online world, from the offline corporate world to the online world. I spent over a quarter century in corporate America, worked over at some of the coolest companies on the planet, I have to say. Learned a lot, learned a ton, loved, actually liked a lot about working in corporate America, but I also didn't like some things that didn't match my core values, and so I eventually struck out on my own back in 2003. Struck out on my own, not online, because guess what? The internet was pretty new back then, and people were thinking it might just be a fad and that it wasn't going to stick around. So you know how that goes. People believed that the world was flat at one point as well, but things always change. That's one thing we can count on, is that everything is always going to change all the time, or things are going to change all the time. If they're not growing and expanding, they're probably declining and taking a deep dive. So today, what's going on? Get Up and Go Challenge, day 24, talking about the Owen soap, right? We're going to continue to go over and over in a 40-day challenge, the framework, the how to deal with challenges and change and obstacles and failures and road bumps and roadblocks and anything that can get in your way, or anything that surprises you in a way that you didn't expect. How do you deal with that? What do you do? And having a framework to make sure that you're always, even on a subconscious level, because what we're trying to do in this 40-day challenge is make sure that we take this framework and we make it an inherent part of your subconscious way of dealing with problems, dealing with challenges, dealing with situations, so that you will automatically, for every challenge that ever comes up in your future, you'll have this tool in your toolbox, or these tools in your toolbox that come with the framework and going through it several times that just automatically kick in. I'm to the point where challenge shows up, I don't even think about SOAP or the steps involved in dealing with it. I automatically go through the process. Same way every time, and guess what? I get much better results than when I used to deal with challenges and obstacles by default. Just whatever would happen, I would respond. Happen, respond, happen, respond. And now something happens and I'm proactive, or a lot of times I'm proactive and plan ahead of time, so that when stuff happens, it has much less of a negative impact on me. And often I can take advantage of the opportunities that present themselves in every situation and ensure that I have a positive outcome. And that's what we all want, right? We all want to do the best we can with what we've got right now and make sure that our life is happy and fun. And many of us want to make the world a better place, right? And we want to help other people to do the same. So today was the Owen soap, which is all about options and infinite possibilities, and that as much as we feel like we're backed in a corner and at the end of our rope sometimes and frustrated, there's always alternatives. There are always options. And just because we don't know them doesn't mean they're not out there, that they don't exist. It's like thinking that you have this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I've come to really hate when people market and use that phrase, because guess what? There is no such thing as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Each one of us will be faced with and have the opportunity to experience lots of once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, lots of opportunities. But guess what? We won't seize those opportunities unless we're ready for that particular opportunity. But guess what? It's not like there's only ever going to be one in your life. There's going to be millions and millions and hundreds of thousands, but we have to be open to seeing them. And then we have to be ready, not only open to seeing them, but also ready to experience them. Actually, our experiences are all pretty much opportunities, aren't they? Opportunities to grow, opportunities to show up, opportunities to be a better version of ourselves. So I guess that could all go down to, how do you define an opportunity? And that's up to you too, because we get to decide what everything means. We get to decide what soap means to us, right? We get to decide what unicorns, I have so many fun things by me, what unicorns mean to us. What is a unicorn, right? What does that mean to you? It might not mean anything to you. Didn't mean much to me until my granddaughter. Unicorns weren't big when my kids were growing up. I don't even know if we hardly ever talked about unicorns. Now they're everywhere. And I bet she's got 20 little unicorns or 20 different stuffed unicorns and things, because unicorns are a big thing. So what does that mean to her? What does it mean to me now versus what it meant to me, when my kids were growing up? Pretty much nothing. And now, I bet we talk about unicorns every day that I'm with my granddaughter. At least in some way, shape, or form, the topic of a unicorn will come up, which is really, I'm laughing now because I'm thinking about that. I mean, if I would have thought that I'd be talking about unicorns, at least 5 days a week in my 60s, or as I've turned 60 this year, I would tell somebody, oh, you're crazy, that's ridiculous, I'm never going to be talking about unicorns. Yet, here I am, spending a minute talking about unicorns. So, unicorns. Get Up and Go Challenge, 40-day challenge. Again, was challenged by a group of entrepreneurs that I'm a part of. It's over 150,000 of us to do our own personal 40-day challenge. And I, for decades now, have been doing challenges. And if I am personally doing a challenge, I'm bringing people along with me. Why? It's a lot more fun. It's a lot more fun to do a challenge with other people than to do it by yourself. It's a lot more fun and educational and a better experience, or a more profound experience, to do just about anything with other people than it is with just ourselves. But there's also time when we need to just focus on and really pull in and do the work we need to do on ourselves, by ourselves, right? Because nobody can do it for us. Fun challenge today was about drawing us with our superpower from yesterday. Yesterday we got to pick whatever superpower we would want for fun, and then today we drew a picture of ourselves with or using that superpower. So me, since my superpower was teleportation, I just drew a box and a plain piece of paper and said, I already teleported somewhere, so I'm not here. That was my way of getting out of having to do a drawing. Aren't we creative beings? Oh, yes. At the end of your rope was the idiom that we talked about today. And I think I've covered that a little bit, but I don't know about you, but there have been a lot of times in my life, and a lot of times I found myself in situations where I was literally and figuratively both at the end of my rope, when I needed a lifeline and I needed help from other people to just remind me of what I was capable of, remind me I could do things, and that I didn't have to stay in any situation that I was in. Now, sometimes people will send us messages for years and we still won't listen until the point at which we decide. We never listen, we never hear, we never see until we decide to be open to it, until we decide we're going to see something. And I can think of that in personal examples of jobs and roles I've been in businesses I've been running, in relationships that I've been involved in, when other people outside of us can sometimes see things that we're not allowing ourselves to see. But that's part of our journey as well. That's part of our experience in our life to deal with those tough situations, to deal with those challenges, to figure out what it takes for us to be able to see what is right for us. What is usually clearly right in front of our face, yet we don't seize it, or because we don't seize it. We don't see it, so we don't seize it. All right, so Get Up and Go Challenge. I will be doing my brainstormed list today of options for dealing with my mental health, because I'm going through the challenge this time about my mental health. Remember, there's 7 key areas of our life, and I didn't realize, I don't know why I didn't think about it at the beginning of the challenge. I thought I'd go through 3 different aspects, hey, what are your top 3? But then I realized, guess what? There's plenty of time in a 40-day challenge to go through every single one of them. And it's as good for me as it is for the people going through the challenge to see me go through each of the areas and aspects of my life, especially the ones that are a little tougher for me. The relationship ones, a little tough for me to be open and honest about, because I feel like I still beat myself up for being divorced, for feeling like I was a failure as a marriage partner, as a wife, right? I wasn't awesome. If I was awesome, and even if I was awesome, sometimes you're not married to the right person, and it's not going to work no matter what you do. So relationships, that's kind of a tough area for me to talk about and work on. And then I've had some really bungled bad partnerships in business. Those are not fun to talk about, but guess what? If I can save one person from getting in business with the wrong person, forming the wrong partnership, it is totally worth sharing my painful, horrible, unbelievable experience with a bad business partner. And, same with my marriage. If me sharing my experience can help somebody to know when to get out and when to make a change in their life and their relationship, guess what? Ask me, I'll share that story. Otherwise, I pretty much don't, because it's none of anybody's business, right? We don't like to talk about the things that we suck at. We're all gung-ho about talking about the things we're good at, and we're not so good about talking about the things that have been painful, the things that we've experienced that hurt us at a very core level. I mean, nobody wants to talk about their broken heart. Maybe some people do, but I don't want to talk about it. I very rarely talk about chronic pain, although I feel driven to help people with chronic pain. But I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to go back there. I don't want to be living my life through the filter of massive chronic pain. Doesn't mean I still don't feel pain. I still have pain every day, but I don't let that define me. I don't let that color every aspect of my life. Things like that. So I'm going to go get ready to hang out with my amazing, beautiful little granddaughter. Oh my God, she was so funny yesterday. We went to the park with large gloves on because we only have large gloves with my son. But they've opened the playground equipment so you can play with it now and you can play on it. So watching her climb the rocks and things with these gloves on and swinging the monkey bars. And she even got me to go down a fire pole, which I got to tell you, that was embarrassing because the gloves got stuck and ripped at the top of the pole because I was hanging on for dear life. I'm not much of one to jump down or off of high places. I don't know, I still have a fear of that. It's probably because I fell in a jungle gym off on my head when I was a little girl. I was hanging upside down and I slipped and fell and hit my head, of course, so that kind of stills with me. But I'm going to go hang out with her. If I can help you in any way, please just ask in the comments below. Working on some fun projects. I've moved out of the, I got to do this, and I totally am going against everybody's doing this, so I'm not going to. And it's kind of my new philosophy is if everybody's doing this, I am definitely not doing it. I'm going to do it my way because I've pretty much always done stuff my way. And that is what serves me well. If I'm living in alignment with what works for me, I'm going to do it my way. And I highly recommend you do the same. Listen to what's right for you. We always know. So a lot of times we try to tell ourselves we don't know, but if we listen to our head and our heart and our gut, combine all three, if any one of them is saying no, then don't do it because it's not right for you. But when all three of them are saying yes, that is the direction that you want to go in. Right. Have an awesome day. Again, if I can help you, ask in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow. Bye.